Hello, 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 high level family. We are live right now for our day two of our workshop with Mr. Peng Joon. He is checking in from Malaysia. If you are familiar with Peng, he's been around the marketing industry, especially the digital side of it, for a very long time. And yesterday we went through a lot of content around AI, and we have got a ton more things to talk about today. So if today is your first day, give me a one in the chat for day one. If today is your second day, give me a two in the chat if you were able to attend yesterday and you're excited to catch the second half of the training. Peng, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I hope you guys are excited.
Absolutely. So let's do a recap of what we covered yesterday. I know we started the stream here a few minutes ahead, and I know we've got a lot of content to cover. So let's do a recap, and then we'll talk about day two stuff and get into it, and we'll do a Q&A towards the end of the call today as well. But Peng, what did we talk about yesterday?
Okay, so I noticed that based on the comments, a lot of you are typing number two. And if you miss day one yesterday, you would have essentially missed the thing that would have made all the difference in your life, and there's no turning back. Okay, but uh, uh, day one, basically, we talked about AI powered offers and how to utilize AI to enhance the value of your offers to be able to create something so amazing, to be able to charge high ticket for it, and have your clients and customers thanking you for it. So by the end of day one, we covered maybe about seven different ways to increase perceived value, to enhance your offer utilizing AI. And at the end of day one, we gave away a snapshot that basically reveals the high ticket funnel, the entire architecture and infrastructure of it, which is basically the funnels, the emails, the follow-ups, the automations, all built for you, all built inside the high level ecosystem, where all you got to do is plug and play. And that is where we left off yesterday.
I love it. What were some big takeaways for those that are coming back today? Well, give me your biggest takeaway. If you were to just say one specific thing that just stood out to you. I'm looking through the comments. Let's see, Mr. Hunt here. Michael is here from Reno, Nevada. Laura, thanks for jumping in. Let's see. Christian's here. Monica, Donald, Natalie, Simon. A ton of you are back. What is the one thing that you can say, you know what, this stood out to me? This is the one thing I'm going to focus on.
And maybe to jog the memory a little bit for those of you that typed in number one, if you missed out yesterday's session and today is the first day for you, um, to kind of compress everything we talked about utilizing AI for images, AI for video, AI to increase perceived value. And I talked about how AI has pretty much disrupted the entire coaching and training industry. And if you are a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're somebody that does events, coaching has been disrupted so much because anybody can get a customized answer instantly based on their unique circumstances. And if you are selling a generic course utilizing the model of $1,000 for this generic answer, you're going to get destroyed by AI. So we talked about the different ways to get the advantage, to be able to provide massive value to your audience through things like custom GPTs, so that you can still help your audiences get that unique customized answer and have them have massive value from it, where it could be something that used to be a couple of days or weeks, but now you're able to help them get it in a matter of seconds. We also talked about how AI can help when it comes to customization, and when it comes to merch, when it comes to, and we talked about how AI has disrupted the um, drop shipping business and also the print on demand business as well. So ultimately, the entire goal of yesterday, for those of you who missed out, is to be able to not do all of it, but to do one thing well. And hopefully, at the very least, one of your takeaways is that You could be doing it for somebody else, another business, and to be able to charge them high ticket for it.
I love it. Now, what does any of this have to do with high level paying?
So ultimately, the old way before high level existed is that you would have to do all these things manually. You would have to have one platform for a funnel. You need to have another funnel for sending out another software for sending out text. You need another software for sending out the follow-up emails, another software for automations. But the powerful thing today is that literally you have all of that in one platform, and on top of that, you can charge other businesses high ticket for it. But much more than that, have the retention and have them pay you a recurring every single month by having high level as the backbone and white labeling under their SaaS mode feature.
I love it. So for day two, what is the agenda? What can they expect today? Because I think a lot of the things will kind of come together today as we go through the training. There's a lot to cover. But what is the agenda for today?
So our goal in the next hour is to be able to show you how to utilize AI inside your funnel, as well as some of the things that we're doing when it comes to generating traffic. I believe that the big three moving pieces when it comes to AI, because it's so vast, right? But ultimately, if I were to park it under three big departments, is really about, well, how do we utilize AI in our offers? How do we utilize AI in our funnels, in our sales process? And how do we utilize AI when it comes to driving traffic? And my goal here today is to attempt to be able to integrate AI when it comes to a funnel as well as when it comes to traffic generation.
Love it. Okay, let's get started. And I know a lot of people are excited about the GPTs and resources and snapshots and all the things you're providing. If you notice on the top right corner of the screen, there's a QR code for those of you that are on the fence about high level. If you do decide to jump into a 14-day trial as part of this workshop, you will get access to all of the collaterals that we're providing and walking through completely for free, just as a bonus. And just so you're aware that you do get affiliated to Peng and his ecosystem and his family of people. So there'll be more additional resources that he may or may not provide, but he has a great community of people there. I think you have almost what, five or six, or you said 7,000 customers at this point.
We have 7,000 SaaS mode enabled accounts um, through our white label sales process that's built inside Go High Level. So yes, transitioning over to Go High Level and having SaaS mode has been one of the most powerful things that we've done in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And there's so many different ways to build this recipe. Peng does the high ticket with the recurring. Some people do the low ticket. Some people just do one time. Some people do consulting. There's a lot of different ways to bake in high level into the mix. But what we want to do is just share all this as inspiration. So you take one thing and just go all in on it and, make the things happen for yourself. So, Peng, let's go ahead and have you share your slides and we get right into the content for today.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so here I am sharing my slides. Can you just confirm that you're seeing my slides?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So really quick, yesterday I want to just quickly do a 30-second summary of what it is that we've covered, and so they can understand where we left off. So yesterday we talked about crafting AI powered offers so that you can command premium prices to attract the right buyers. And my goal here today is to be able to walk you through a strategy on how you can utilize AI to power your funnel so that you can sell one to many to convert strangers into customers. And then finally, I want to be able to walk you through something that I did in that took me maybe over that solved the problem that was pretty much haunting me for the last decade that AI solved when it comes to traffic, where we blended timeless persuasion into generating pretty much unlimited traffic to fuel funnels. Okay. And if you stick around for our next hour, you will see how you'll be able to utilize AI in your funnels, in your traffic generation, so that you can really scale and ramp up lead gen as well as sales. Okay, so um, ultimately, for those of you missed out yesterday on day one, this is Ultimately, I've been with utilizing Go High Level for ever since since 2022, and we've built and generated over 7,000 users inside sales process. It's built inside High Level, and my goal here today is to show you how to utilize funnels to sell one to many. Okay, so let's just dive straight into it. Um, let's begin with the big picture of how to generate leads the moment we post a piece of content, and how that actually translates to sales and everything that happens in between. Okay, so let's begin right from the top. Imagine right now we created a piece of content. This could be on Instagram, this could be on Facebook, this could be organic, this could be a paid ad. Okay, so for example, this is a post that I made, and what I'm highlighting in red over here in that red circle is the engagements that we got. Now, typically engagements, which is likes, comments, and shares, is a vanity metric, and it means absolutely nothing, right? There are a lot of posts with high engagements, with a lot of likes, whereby the person that made the post literally made zero sales from it, right? Because it's usually a vanity metric. Okay, but today I'm gonna show you a process that really changes things up, and you might have noticed or even experienced it yourself. But let me show you how the entire thing works and how we utilize AI and automation for lead gen as well as converting leads into sales. Okay, so step number one is just making a post where the call to action of the post is to get somebody to engage with the post, typically by commenting on it. Okay, so imagine making a post where you add value, and at the end of the post is just saying, hey, and if you like this, comment keyword, and I'll send this fill in the blank to you. I'll send this coupon code to you. I'll send this masterclass to you. I'll send this checklist to you. I'll send this free training to you. I'll send you this thing, right? So reason to comment. Okay. Now this could be a paid ad. This could be organic. Okay, it does not matter. Okay, so a typical flow could be what's very powerful is High Level allows us to build this automation to tie in their first name and last name to their Facebook Messenger data. Okay, so imagine right now you make a post and somebody makes a comment, and it triggers this automation, which is built inside a workflow inside Go High Level, and now there is a conversation that takes place. Okay, so what happens then is they initiate this conversation. Okay, and now I would like all of you write this down. You want to have a reason to get their email. Okay, so for example, if let's say you're e-com, this could be like, awesome, what's your best email for us to send this coupon code over to, right? If you're a speaker, a trainer, and you want to be able to invite them for some sort of webinar, it will be like, awesome, what's a great email for us to send you this invite to this upcoming virtual summit, right? If you are somebody that's selling high ticket and you wanted them to be able to book a call, right? It's like, awesome, what's your best email for us to send this case study to, right? So you want to be able to have a reason to capture the email, for them to provide the email. Now, once they provide that email, the automation that Go High Level allows is that you'll be able to take their first name and last name that is imported into the CRM automatically. Their first name and last name is taken from their Facebook profile, and their email they provide goes directly into Go High Level. Okay, so now if you think about this, we have their messenger details as well as the email that takes us to the next phase. Okay, so now because we can now send them the link to whatever funnel that you want to send them to, whether it's high ticket, whether it's your e-com funnel, whether it is your to book a call, right, whether it's a webinar, we're able to give them the data that they want, and we email them immediately, right? So within Go High Level, there's an automation that triggers. So now there's an entire follow-up sequence. Okay, so Go High Level now can put them into some sort of automated sequence. So for example, if this is an upcoming webinar, there could be a reminder sequence that kicks in to get them to go to this webinar. If let's say this is an e-com funnel that sells them a physical product and you want to sell this physical product, there's an automated sequence that kicks in to do the nurturing and the relationship building and the selling for you. right? So now there could be an entire 2 week follow-up sequence that takes place automatically. And the best part is HighLevel allows you to merge all these conversations, whether it is through Instagram, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's SMS, all stored in one location, and you can filter them based on platform. Okay. On top of that, you can see the entire sales journey with you. Okay. So in short, if you really think about it, how it works is you just make a post, people comment, and you have AI and automation kick in automatically to follow up and close. Okay. Now, if you think about this very short but simple process, it's very powerful. Why? Because all you're really doing now is you set up this entire workflow once, which, by the way, I've actually built this for you. For those of you that open your trial account, you notice that there's an entire workflow that does this that's already been pre-built for you. So this entire pre-built campaign kicks in, right? If a person is sending this message through Facebook, through Instagram, and the reason why this is an entire game changer is because getting an engagement, which is getting somebody to just comment on a post, is significantly easier and lower friction than trying to get somebody to click on a link and opt in. Right? Just think about that for a second. Just think about you as the user on social media. Wouldn't you agree that if you wanted access to this thing, this free training, this free checklist, this free swipe file, this free resource, this free calculator, this free thing, right? Wouldn't you agree that it's significantly lower risk and easier to just comment something on a post than to click on it and to go to the landing page and put in your first name and last name and email to opt in for something, right? So Go HighLevel is able to bridge that gap when you understand how to build this automation. Okay? And if you like this automation, you'll realize that I've also built this for you. So how it looks like is, let me show you an example of our Black Friday that we did last year. And I want to use this example here because next month is going to be Black Friday, and you could potentially use a campaign like this. But imagine right now you run an ad or you make a post, and again somebody engages with you in a conversation. They click on the button, yes, hook me up, right? Reason for email. They give that email. We send them the link, right? All these are all automated, by the way, all pre-built in the campaign, in the workflow. Okay. Their first name, last name is automatically imported into the system together with their email, stored into the CRM, of which you have their first name and last name automatically pulled from Facebook. You have their phone number, as well as email stored based on their reply. And then you can now put them into an automated text and or email sequence that happens automatically, and that utilizes AI to see what they've done and to send them automatic follow-ups based on their behavior. So if they bought, they can go to one specific process. If they didn't buy, there could be a different set of follow-up emails that takes place. And the best part is you can see the entire journey.
Quick question for you, Peng. So, what you're saying is you create a post and you ask people to engage with it. What you mean by that is not like a comment on the post itself, but a message that they're sending in. So these are messenger engagement, or is it comments like a traditional comment?
Great question. So they both work. A
Okay.
traditional comment on the post um, is a lot easier to execute. And the
Okay.
reason for that is because, and you might probably have seen it before, it's like posting a piece of content that adds value and then saying something like, if you want to be able to have this 7 point checklist, comment checklist below and I'll send it over. When everybody's post commenting at the checklist, and that keyword triggers a conversation where you're able to engage in a conversation with them to send them that link.
And what
Right?
you're saying is the key is to make sure that It's a collateralized exchange. There needs to be a reason for them to give you a email. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time.
Exactly. So ultimately, there's flexibility in doing this. It could be the case that they comment a keyword and you send them the link, right? However, to me, that's not as powerful as having a reason to acquire that email, because now you're getting a lead for free and you're able to utilize their email and put it in an autoresponder and an entire follow-up sequence, because they may not buy the first point of contact, right? But now, because you have their first name, last name, and the email, this lead belongs to you for life. And as long as you're able to add value and not offend them, that's when you're able to nurture the relationship, because they would be buying, potentially weeks from now, months from now.
Yeah, one more item for clarity. I'm playing devil's advocate just so you guys are all aware. You mentioned merging of contacts. You said merging of conversations. So if I'm posting on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn and Facebook, and on top of that, if somebody gives me, I don't know, Paulson Thomas 1 at gmail.com, then Paulson Thomas 2 at gmail.com, how does that all work? Like help me understand as
So
the
ultimately,
marketer.
when you have a conversations tab inside High Level, you have all these different platforms going into one place. So this means that if you launch a campaign on Instagram right now and you made a post, right? And on this post, you added massive value, and then you said, hey, and if you would like to be able to watch the full masterclass, comment keyword below. And now people are commenting that keyword. But at the same time, you did the same post on Facebook. So right now there's two things going on, right? There's comments that's happening inside Instagram, comments that's happening on Facebook. But now, because everything is merged in one place, you don't have to log into multiple platforms, and you'll be able to see it all in one place, depending on how they replied on which platform. Even though it could be different platforms, you'll be able to have it all in one place.
There's no way a small business owner can set this all up unless they know marketing well enough.
Which brings me to my next point. Okay. Um, so if you really think about this entire process here, and this is something that we talked about yesterday, right? It's that, hey, if this thing is so powerful, why don't every single business owner do it? It's true. Business owners should be doing it. But is the typical chiropractor going to bother learning this? Probably not, right? Is the plastic surgeon who's able to charge, $3,000 to $20,000 per client going to be bothered to learn how to do this? Unlikely, right? So what if you could fill in the gap and provide this as a service or solution to other business owners and do it for them and charge them high ticket for it, and then keep them on retainer, because now you're utilizing your platform that could be your private label, that you built, that's powered by Go High Level, right? And that's the massive opportunity here.
Now we're getting interesting with this whole AI play. Let's keep going. Someone asked if we could do this on all platforms. Pretty much all platforms. I'm gonna keep the screen here full screen so everybody can see the slides here.
Yeah. So if you think about what it is that I've shown you, I always know that there's going to be a percentage of those of you that's maybe starting out and you don't have a business right now, and you're probably thinking, but Peng Joon, how is this relevant to me? Right? I'm just starting out. I don't have a business. You're asking me to make social media posts. I don't have a social media following. And if there's all these different reasons on why it wouldn't work for you, okay? But then if you think about it on the flip side, which is, so if you think about this one campaign, right, to a typical business owner, right? How much do you think, if you could set this entire campaign up for them and it allowed them to get 10 extra walk-ins or leads a week, how much do you think that's going to be worth to the typical plastic surgeon or dentist or gym owner or plumber, right? As a direct result of you setting this up for them. And if you think about the proposition that you're proposing to this business owner, it's as simple as, right now, I would love to be able to set this thing up for you and to be able to automatically convert every single engagement that you're getting into a lead and help you build up an automated follow-up system that follows with all these leads, whether it's email or text, so that they eventually become a walk-in for your business, right? And to a plastic surgeon, if you think about it, like one extra walk-in a day, a week, how much is that worth to them? And the best part is, once again, if you're thinking about like how does it work and all that, in terms of the tech, we've built up the entire automation and workflow for you inside GHL, right? And one additional client for that business owner, literally, if you can just get one client, this would pay for your entire Go High Level account for the entire year.
Maybe more than that, but yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
many times over, right? So um, I'll leave a QR code over here on the slide. But ultimately, you get the funnels, the email sequences, the text, the reminders, all of that. Okay, so that's basically how, just one of the many many ways you can utilize Go High Level and infuse it with the power of automations and AI to sell one to many, whereby now social media is no longer just a vanity metric, but there's a reason to get engagements, because the engagements becomes conversations, and these conversations becomes part of your lead gen, and now you have an automated follow-up process for every single lead that comes in to convert these leads into sales. Okay, and that brings us to the third part when it comes to AI, and that is AI and utilizing it in traffic. Now, obviously, this department on its own. I could go for the next 5 days talking about this, but I wanted to be able to share with you a big piece that all of you can start utilizing immediately. Okay, so yesterday I talked about how AI can mimic and model pretty much any person, any artist, any illustrator, any copywriter that's ever lived, dead or alive, right? And when it comes to traffic and copywriting, a big part of my struggle and bottleneck when it comes to scaling a business has always been copy and approving of ads. Okay. Now, for those of you that heard my story yesterday, um, in like the first 3 minutes, Paulson asked me about my journey when I was first starting up, right? And I shared the story of how my first ever digital product that I sold um, online was in the World of Warcraft market back in 2007. And that was how I kind of like entered this space of selling stuff online. Now, what many people didn't know is how I stumbled upon creating this first ever digital product. Okay, I'm going to share with you this story of Craigslist, right? Though those of you Gen Zs and millennials may not know what this is. Okay, but if you're a boomer, then you know what this is. Back in 2007, there's a post. If you play World of Warcraft, it might make sense. If you don't, it might not make sense. But this person made a post that said, "Hello, I need 5,000 World of Warcraft gold for my epic flying mount, and in return, you can mount me." And you're probably thinking what this means. It means exactly what you think it means. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Now, when I first saw this post, I was I was floored. I was stunned. I'll be like, I can't believe that people would go through all of this just to make more gold in World of Warcraft. And to me, I was like, I played a lot of World of Warcraft. I wasn't an expert, but I think I knew and understood the game pretty well. And it was because of that when I realized there was this demand that prompted me to create my first ever World of Warcraft digital product. Now, I'll tell you why this links to AI in a second, in a few minutes, okay? But when I created this product, you got to understand that back then, I've got no marketing background. I'm not a copywriter. I didn't understand persuasion. I didn't know what upsells were. I didn't know what funnels were. I didn't know any of that, right? So naturally, the thing that I struggled with was copywriting, because back then there was no social media, there's no Facebook. Back then, the thing that was like the number one method of driving traffic was Google AdWords. Okay, so when it comes to Google AdWords and landing pages and writing articles was like the main method of driving traffic organically back then, whereas Google AdWords was like the main method for paid traffic, back in 2007. And because I struggled with copywriting because I didn't have the skill set, one of the things that I realized is that typically I was good at modeling things that worked and try to utilize it in my World of Warcraft market. Because back then, the education and courses was very, very limited. Whereas there's not a lot, there's no YouTube back then, right? There's no tutorials that's readily available. So what I would do is I would look at copywriting material that was written by legends in the direct response world, and I would try to model the framework and utilize it in World of Warcraft. And one very, very prominent copywriting piece was on John Caples, where the headline was about they laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I started to play dot dot dot. Okay. Now this piece here, I'll always remember this piece because this is one of the first direct response pieces that I wrote in World of Warcraft that was a home run for me. And my variation that I used in World of Warcraft was they laughed at me when they saw my level 15 rogue, but when I showed them my gold account. Okay, when I showed them my gold dot dot. Now, again, if you don't play World of Warcraft, it might not make sense. But making this in-game currency in World of Warcraft was a big thing back then. And all I did was I modeled the entire flow of this article, and I would utilize this flow and framework when I utilized and created World of Warcraft articles, as well as ads for Google AdWords. So that was what enabled me to start generating these, $7 sales in digital products back in 2007. Okay, and that was what also enabled me to realize that, oh wow, like selling stuff online, is very, very real. And that's when I started to make these little, $7 sales.
And this
Now,
is for the guide, right? This is for the Warcraft guide that you created. Got it.
yes,
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
digital product, back then. And so I started scaling this into other gaming guides. And when Facebook games became a huge hit, that was like my major break. That was my first product. They did over $1 million in sales. This was Farmville Secrets that I launched back in the day. And what I realized back then is that success leaves clues. And these things that's proven out there, they could be in a totally different market, niche, or industry, but we can always model that methodology of doing things for our market or niche. Okay, so scaling to 7 and 8 figures and beyond is about two things. To me, it's about people and process. And for many, many years, there was a process that I just could not remove myself from. And you know what that is? And that was the approval of ads. And the reason for that is because for a very long time, whenever we ran a campaign, and if we're putting massive dollars behind that campaign, a very common thing would be my team member tagging me on a Trello board saying, could you please approve this ad? And many times, the thing that it would say is, but it's just going to take you 3 to 5 minutes of your time. And everything is just, oh, but it's just going to take you 3 to 5 minutes of your time. Right? And just imagine the number of ads that we will run. And it's true. If we're going to put in 5 to 6 figures on just one ad campaign, right? They will be saying, but yeah, it's only going to take you 3 to 5 minutes, right? But everything just takes just 3 to 5 minutes, right? So it made sense that it would still require my attention for the approval for these ads, because we would typically spend millions of dollars a year on our ad campaigns. So when AI came about, I realized that this was a big opportunity for me to systematize this entire process when it comes to traffic generation. So 15 years later, I was reminded of this ad once again, which was the first ad or first type of content that I created in World of Warcraft, which was based on a classic in the world. So to me, I realized the future of copy is to model timeless frameworks from the copywriting legends that's that was created pre-internet days, and to remix them with AI to be able to scale them to millions, right? And to me, this is one of like the biggest heist in internet marketing history. Okay, um, here's why. If you really take a look at a lot of these direct response ads, they were actually written before the internet existed, right? Before there was AI, before there was split testing, before there were funnels. And the reason why it works is because human psychology has not changed in 10,000 years, right? Claude Hopkins created an ad that said, do you make these mistakes in English? I'll show you how that ad looked like, right? 1926, John Caples came out with they laughed when they fill in the blank, right? Now, there are a lot of these different ads that was written like hundreds of years ago, okay? But at the same time, there are many different ways we can actually model these ads and utilize them today. So you know what I did? Over a year ago, I got my team to go on a quest. And I said, you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to go out there and we're going to compile literally every major piece of direct response copy that we know has done millions of dollars back in the day. And we're going to get AI to learn the framework and the writing style and the flow and why it was successful. And I want the outcome to be so that we can just put in the product or the market or the thing that we're selling, and AI is going to write the entire piece of copy modeling that framework on how it's written. So over a year ago, we did this insane thing whereby I would get my copywriters to compile all these different classic ads. I would provide them with the ads that I loved back in the day. And every single ad, we created a custom GPT associated to it. Okay. Um, and here's the crazy thing. Okay. I'm going to back it up with some numbers and case studies. So, for example, this is a campaign that we spent about $595,000. And before timeless ads, it is a low ticket front end offer. So where it's 1.2 return on ad spend, which is not bad. It means that every $100 we get back $120 return. So we acquire a lead and a buyer for free. But with this timeless ads, notice the same campaign from 1.2, it became 3.1. And if you take a look at how it's written, okay, let me show you, why it works. So, for example, this is Claude Hopkins with his framework on do you make these mistakes in English? Okay, so here's why it works. It's irresistible curiosity. It addresses a universal problem. It's authority and proof. It's low commitment, and it addresses the fear of looking stupid. Now, if you think about this hook, which is like, do you make these mistakes in fill in the blank? You realize that you can apply this in any market, right? Do you make these mistakes when it comes to your golf swing? Do you make these mistakes when it comes to trading forex? Are you making these mistakes when it comes to acquiring more assets or mistakes in investing? Okay, and this entire thing, right? We established yesterday that AI can learn anything that has ever been published and put it into a process or a framework, right? So how we used it is literally we got AI to create a custom we created a custom GPT just based on this framework. So for example, this could be like the headline, right? Which is like, are you making these ad mistakes that costing you sales right now, right? And the results, if you take a look at this ad headline together with the copy, you notice that our return on ad spend is like 4x, 2x, 3x, and these are all front end low ticket offers. Okay, so for example, now They laughed when I sat down at the piano, right? Why does it work? It's emotional storytelling. It's this underdog narrative, instant curiosity, effortless transformation. So how do we use it, right? Same thing, right? What's the hook? The hook is they laughed when I said I could create ads that would actually work, right? So if you really think about it, in every market that you're in, you can utilize this framework, right? So for example, our image ads could be like they laughed at my ad until they saw the sales roll in, right? So over here, for example, this specific campaign, our ROAS on this is 2 to 12x return on ad spend. Okay, so I could keep going on, right? This is Gary Halbert, um, amazing money secret from a desperate nerd from Ohio, right? And how we utilize this is again utilizing the same methodology of writing the entire flow from the hook all the way to the close. Now, there's literally dozens and dozens and dozens of different angles that we modeled and mimic. This is how to win friends and influence people. This was an ad campaign that had 7x ROI. And you'll notice that this works for both direct response um, as well as branding. And the best part is you'll actually get amazing feedback on the ads. Um, Why? Because now the ads is not your typical boring, straight for the kill. Hey, buy my stuff. Buy one get one free, limited for the next 17 people only type of thing. Okay. Um. So let me just do a quick demo. How many of you here would like to be able to see exactly how this works and how you can utilize AI to create amazing world-class copy in under a minute? Okay. Now, for the purpose of saving time, why don't we do this? Yesterday there was a exercise that we did about fractional CFOs, right? Okay, so let me share my screen one more time, okay, and let's utilize that as an example. Okay, so for those of you that were here yesterday, let me see. Okay, so remember I said one of the exercises that we did yesterday is I got someone to give a really generic vanilla answer to what do you do, right? So this would be like I mentor finance teams, promote accountability, and optimize operations. Okay, and then from there, I showed you the power of a custom GPT to create a positioning statement, a unique hook, talking points for marketing, sales, and branding. Now imagine this. Imagine that. So here's an example of the insane thing that my team went through. That took them, months of compiling all the best copywriting pieces that was ever created. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of them, right? From big billion-dollar company campaigns, all the way to direct response ads. Okay, let's take a look. Maybe we'll just use one first. Okay, let's see. Let's use the old time classic, the one that made helped me make my first big break. Right, John Caples. They laughed when I sat down up here. Right, so imagine right now you click a button and it took you to a custom GPT, and this custom GPT has learned the in and outs of this ad copy. Okay, and it crafts a story driven ad that turns skeptic into believers, utilizing the persuasion formula behind John Caples' iconic ad. Now, and what if all you needed to do, okay, this next step, just to give you guys a heads up, is not easy. It will require a lot of discipline and willpower. Okay, and it requires you to do two things. It requires you to right click and press paste. If you do that, you will be able to make this thing work. Okay, so right now all I'm doing is I'm just copy and pasting the answer from yesterday. Okay, which is basically the answer to like the positioning statement to craft an ad from it. Right, imagine right now you fed AI. So remember, we did this yesterday in like 15 seconds, right? Imagine now the answer that AI gave We're able to put this in here, and now it's able to turn this into a they laughed ad, right? Let's take a look and see what happens. They laughed when I said our startup needed a CFO, but then we tried to raise our next round. At that time, it felt like an overkill. We weren't even in Series A just yet. We don't need a CFO, someone said. Just stay lean, we'll figure it out. So we kept winging it. Spreadsheets here, Stripe exports there, burn rate kind of guessed, forecast, let's just say they varied. Everyone was busy. No one really owned finance until the board started asking tougher questions, and we realized that figuring it out wasn't a strategy anymore. Our cash runway was murky. Our ops lead was drowning in finance work and investor decks. They were building them the night before meetings. That's when we brought in a fractional CFO, not just to report the numbers, but to build us a real financial system. And I'm not going to lie, I expected a few spreadsheets, and what we got was a roadmap, a financial OS that made us look like pros because we finally were. Our head of ops got mentored into real financial leadership. We had clarity on metrics before investors asked. Weekly rituals, dashboards, accountability, they're all running smoothly. Now we walk into the investors' calls with confidence. The deck's tight, the metrics are sharp. We know exactly where we stand and where we're going. Now notice, so and then he transitions into your startup should have a product roadmap too. Shouldn't your finances have one too? I'm the fractional CFO for SaaS startups who need more than just spreadsheets. I'll mentor your finance team, I'll build scalable systems, and I'll turn chaos into clarity. Now, if you really think about it, and then after that, it ends with booking a call. Now, just think about how long it took me to create this piece of copy based on a timeless ad that's proven to work, and this is just one. Can you see why, if you try to compete with somebody and you're doing it manually, how you're going to be crushed? And right now, again, if you can understand that AI can learn and mimic the best frameworks of all time, how much time it will save you, your company, or your business. So, are you guys getting it? Right? This is such a dry agreement, right? So,
So,
this is
yeah, I'm excited because what I'm trying to do is connect the bridge in how do I monetize this going to a business owner, right? That's where my mind is.
great. Okay, so this is where there's two things, right? Every time when I'm sharing with you a strategy, I want you to think about it from two different angles. The first angle would be, well, how do I utilize this for myself and utilize AI to help me drive more traffic based on timeless frameworks that's already proven to work? At the same time, it would be, how do I utilize this resource and do it as a done for you service for other business owners? Because this would be massive value for them, because now I'm creating content for them that's not just based on normal, boring, vanilla type of content, but it's educational, but also balances out with direct response where there's an ROI to it. That's the power of utilizing AI when you do it this way, right? So coming back to the PowerPoint, the presentation here, when we gave this out to our 100K clients, they literally single-handedly said this is what made their entire investment working with us worthwhile, when they had all these different ads laid out. In fact, just about a month ago, I was speaking at Bali. And when I presented the power of this, I don't know if you guys know of Dan Henry, but Dan
No,
Henry
I know that guy. I know that guy.
got on his seat, he ran to the front and paid me cash for the entire thing. It's like, that has never happened before. Okay. Um, And the reason why I'm telling you that this entire process is because ever since then, I never had to approve an ad ever since. That's what it took, right? When I was able to put this into a process. Okay. So are you guys excited? Are you guys able to see like why this thing's so powerful? Okay. So to quickly summarize, I want to be able to spend some time on Q&A as well. So we've talked about how AI can enhance your offers to attract the right buyers and to attract premium pricing. I've shown you how you can utilize Go High Level to be able to build AI powered funnels, and how we've built out this entire workflow for you that can take any type of post to turn it into an engagement that eventually becomes a conversation to help you acquire a lead, and to be able to have the automations in place that automatically follows with them. And then finally, how you can utilize traffic by getting AI to learn and model and mimic the most powerful pieces of direct response or branding content that was ever done by either billion-dollar companies or very, very successful direct response marketers, to be able to create your very own custom content that models that framework. And the best part is, what if I could clone this entire thing for you? You know, we've done this for clients for 15K in the past, and they absolutely loved it. But you're not going to invest that amount. In fact, our entire package when we do this is for $39.97 with no discount. And if you really think about this, if you think about what I've shown you right up to this point, $4,000, is that a lot of money? Well, it depends. If this helped you build or scale a business utilizing AI that was actually profitable, would it be worth $4,000? Or if this could help you get back an additional 4 hours a day with better systems and processes, so that your team members aren't tagging you all day saying it's just going to take you 5 minutes of your time, right? Would it be worth it? Or if you could replace your social media managers, your content creators, your designers, your salespeople, do you think that's going to save you $4,000 a year, right? So there's really two ways to do this. I want to do something special. You buy it for $4,000, or you get it all for free, right? How many of you here would like to get everything that I just mentioned for free? Um, some of you may know, you know, really, I'm truly grateful to be able to have the opportunity to work with Go High Level over all these years. This is my first time doing a workshop like this with them online, and I wanted to be able to do something that's an absolute no-brainer for the community. So for this event only, when you scan this QR code, my team is going to compile all of you guys that open an account, and we're going to send you this entire list of custom GPTs that we created that took us close to a year to compile, and send it over to you. How many of you here would like that? Right? You can be you can be $100,000 client of mine. We're the first batch to get this, or you could get this for free when you open a high level account, right? So in the right hands, just this alone, I'm putting 100 times worth the investment, but I would say it's literally worth way more than that if you actually put it to use. All you got to do is open your free Go High Level trial account, and you will be able to get all the custom GPTs that I talked about yesterday. In case you missed it, you'll be able to get my entire high ticket sales process, all of the funnels. That includes the email templates, the follow-ups, the nurtures, the reminders, the SMS the templates. Literally, this funnel has made us millions of dollars. So the quick recap to everything you're going to get when you open a free Go High Level account is, you're going to get the proven high ticket snapshot loaded into your account. You're going to get all of my funnels, the emails, the text, the automations for this high ticket funnel, so you can start charging other business owners and have them thank you for it. You're going to get the entire workflow for my engagements to conversations utilizing the AI powered sales process that I showed you here today, together with our top 10 custom GPTs worth $5,000, and all of our timeless ads framework on a spreadsheet, so that you'll be able to have all of these best converting ads in one place for both direct response when you open your free account. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to do a Q&A with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got really bad news for all the people that already have an account. Unfortunately, you already have an account. But the good news, actually, I'm just kidding, is that we'll send all this over to you via email as long as you registered for this event when you first signed up for the automations and reminders. Um, so don't worry, give it a few hours. You'll get all these assets and snapshot, the GPTs and everything available to you. You'll get it on email. So let's do this. I've got a couple of
And
questions
one
for
thing I want
you.
to, it is midnight right now here in Malaysia. So if you're not getting it over the next few hours, is because my team don't work at 3 in the morning. Just so you guys know. Okay? So
Yes.
it
Plus,
is going to compound.
your body is also still recovering from the marathon you just finished yesterday. So give us a little bit of time. I paying. I know you charge 15, 20 grand for something like this. I've seen it in multiple events and conferences. You do your own conference as well. Part of me, it's like I see you as a friend, and when I ask you to do something amazing for the community, you never hold back. And part of me, it's like sometimes when you give things for free, people don't value it. And I hope that's, the case is that they overvalue it and take advantage of it, because sometimes when it's free, it's undervalued just because it's free. But Peng, I know firsthand from so many people, so many years of what you're doing, you sell this thing for a lot of
So,
money.
so, so it's just to be clear, it's not free. You guys need to buy Paulson a tequila shot when you guys.
No, 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 no. That's okay. Well, if we're at the if we're at the Level Up conference, maybe we can all have some drinks together at the parties and all the after event activities. So, a couple of questions for you before we get into the Q&A questions that we have from the event itself. So, Peng, I wanna play devil's advocate for someone who's brand new, who's just so new to the world of entrepreneurship. Okay, I've learned this content from Peng. I know that I can use AI to set up an offer. I can use AI to set up my fulfillment. What do I do to land clients? Like, how do I go approach a business owner? What does that conversation look like? And because I don't have any case studies, because I don't have any clients yet, how do I set up a conditional exchange? Like, what is your recommendation to help me get my first client?
Love it. Okay, so just imagine this way. Just think about one campaign that I've shown you. Okay, so for example, let's take the campaign of utilizing the workflow to help set up um, a business to help a business owner convert engagements into leads and into sales automatically for them. And imagine the proposition is, I would love to be able to help you map out your entire content strategy for the month, whereby we're not just helping you create pieces of random content, but there's a call to action. And the call to action is to get them to engage. And when they engage, it automatically has a follow-up system built in where it helps you collect these leads. And once the leads is in the CRM, it will automatically follow up with them until they either walk in to the store, into the gym, or they eventually buy if it's an online thing. And imagine right now the proposition is, and because and in full transparency, I'm starting out and I want to be able to get my first few clients to turn them into case studies. So here's what I'm willing to do. And you say, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to build this entire workflow out for free so that I'm waiving that initial fee of whatever, $5,000. And all I'm asking of you is if you like it, just continue utilizing my platform and then you charge them that recurring. Now, guess what? If you do this for the first business owner, right, a dentist, guess what? You now have one client whereby if you really think about that entire campaign, if you know what you're doing, it takes you less than an hour to set up. But what you're really doing is you're acquiring a case study and you're building up your recurring subscription for life. Why? Because now they're hooked onto your system. They need to utilize the funnels, the emails, the CRM, right? So ultimately, if you're just starting out, be willing to waive the initial upfront fee in order to build up the case study, in order for you to build up that skill set so that you can replicate it and work with and help more clients in future.
I love that. Second question I have for you, Peng. You said when you were teaching the last 2 days of a ton of AI, a lot of exciting, cool things. You said to just focus on one thing and go all in on it. Why did you say that? Because to me, There's so many things in high level. There's so many things in AI, but why is it important for you to just focus on one offer? Why is that recommendation there?
Right. Okay. So typically, when it comes to most entrepreneurs, I believe most entrepreneurs have this habit of this shiny object syndrome. And everybody's trying to chase this multiple streams of income thing, only to realize it actually becomes multiple streams of distraction. You don't want that to happen initially. So the reason why I say pick one is because when you try to do too many things, especially when you're starting out, nothing gets done. There's all these half-built bridges whereby you don't even have one fully well-developed bridge yet, and that's why most people have nothing to show for.
I love it. For the folks that are in the opposite realm of scaling, maybe they're at 100 customers already, or SaaS customers, or affiliates, or whatever. What is the big lever that you moved in your business? Was it hiring an expert? Was it a certain piece of technology? Was it an onboarding process? What is the thing that helped you get to the Diamond SaaSpreneur Award?
If you are past over 100 SaaS users, that tells me that you have figured out lead acquisition and to convert leads into clients and sales. So the next hurdle after that means, well, fixing churn, right? Because selling is one thing, keeping them and onboarding them is a different thing. So once you've passed 100, it means that you figured out how to acquire clients. But now, how do we scale? You scale when you can decrease your churn, because every 1% makes a big difference when you start hitting larger numbers. So this means putting in a solid onboarding game plan in place to really understand in the first 30 days when a new user signs up, like what needs to happen so that they go from active trial to active monthly. So the way we do that, and this obviously would be a simplified version of it all, but every single person that opens an account with us, I have one person that does an account sweep every single day to look at the health of account. And we tag them utilizing a traffic light system, whereby red means that they haven't done anything. It probably means that they're going to churn because they've got no skin in the game. Yellow is tagged to the account if we feel that they have done something, like utilize the funnels, uploaded their contacts, their emails. There's some sort of skin in the game. Green is when they're monetizing and sales are coming in and the account pays for itself and it's no longer an expense, which means that they'll be a customer for life. I want each and every one of you to think about how your entire onboarding, whether it's through your first 14 days, whether it's through a virtual event, whether it's through your customer support, whether it's through the process that you get when we get people on, your whole goal is to move somebody from red to yellow as fast as possible. So, depending on the feature that you're focused on, your goal is to get them to do that thing in that feature so that there's some sort of skin in the game. Now, what does that look like? So, for example, let's say you are helping, let's say the main core feature that you're focused on is funnels. That means in the first day or 3 days, your goal is to issue a 24-hour challenge and say, hey, in the next 24 hours, your goal is to utilize this funnel over here and change the headline, the copy, the bullet points. And when you do that, something's gonna happen. You either unlock this bonus, you'll be in this draw. So one of the things that we do is we associate our events, our challenges, our summits to move somebody from red to yellow. Right. So if let's say this is on email marketing and deliverability and for then this will be like in the next 24 hours, your goal is to be able to upload your contact list. Why? Because if somebody uploaded their contact list, again, there's some sort of skin in the game. If let's say you are a social media agency and you're utilizing AI to help business owners with mapping out their social media and scheduling it all, utilizing Go High Level's social media scheduler, then what you want to be able to do is, hey, you're going to have a 24-hour challenge, and the goal is to utilize this AI tool that we've provided to you to map out and queue and schedule your entire social media schedule for the month inside your platform, right? And again, if somebody mapped out their entire social media schedule for the month, what do you think their odds are when it comes to canceling? Probably very, very low, right? Because then it feels like there's some sort of pain of disconnect. That's what you want to be doing when it comes to scaling, from 100 and beyond, fixing churn, understanding onboarding, and what moves a person from red to yellow.
I love it. So let's spend. I wanted to selfishly bring up those three things because I felt like that will help close a gap on a few items just in general. So thank you for that. What I'm gonna do is spend the next like 10 minutes going through as many questions as we possibly can. And for us to address your question, type in the letter Q or the word question and then put out your question. Please limit to just one question, if you don't mind, at a time so we can get through as many. And I will go ahead and pull up my chat here. For those of you, again, that already have existing high level accounts, you'll get all these assets for the as part of the workshop emailed over to you. Let's see. So this would be a great time to ask questions, you guys. Any things that you wanted to clarify yesterday versus today versus tomorrow. Let's see. If you go to the Peng Joon resources link that our team put out there, you'll see that the snapshots are available to you. In that same folder, probably sometime tomorrow, we'll go through and add the custom GPTs and all of those things in there. Give us a little bit of time. It's past midnight for Peng in Malaysia. He's staying
Two
up at
days,
night
you see,
time.
because my team needs time to compile all the
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah. So just give us a little bit of time. We'll make sure that's there by tomorrow or at the earliest. But there's snapshots in there already that you'll be able to get started with. Okay. So let's see. Um, Let me see. I'm scrolling. Uh,
maybe I can answer
John.
a few big pictures, strategic questions in here.
Yeah,
Um,
go for it.
Grid
Uh,
Pilot asks, what service would you start with and which is most profitable? So, yesterday when I talked about AI powered offers, I talked about how if you want to be able to charge more, you want to be able to go deeper and specific rather than wide, right? So, for example, if you want to have an AI powered offer that is based upon a generic and broad, we will help you with your social media posting, right? That's what everybody is going to, there's no differentiation of positioning that's different. However, if you go deep and your positioning is on, I help SaaS companies improve their retention and reduce churn by creating a customized 90-day onboarding, right? And you built a custom GPT around, like the example I show you, like based on a proven model. That is how you'll be able to charge more because the specificity sells. Okay, and that is going to be way more profitable than just this broad net of like I help business owners with social media.
that might have been one of the most profound things we talked about last 2 days. Because when you start out in entrepreneurship, it's very easy to be vague and generalized in everything you do, your ads, the offers, the fulfillment, the way you create onboarding, everything is very generic and not customized. So that is a very big thing as you kind of roll out your business. I'm going to rapid fire a couple of these questions that came in before the one you just addressed, Peng. RW Jones, the billionaire, is asking, where can I find the They Laugh Persuasion ad copy framework in the chat GPT? We'll have the custom GPTs in the folder. If you don't have a high level account, use that QR code that's on the screen right now. Sign up for a 14-day trial. You'll get all the assets in an email. Juliet's asking, how do I put a GPT behind a paywall inside of high level? I'm not a technical person, so I don't know how that works. I assume you can do that.
I personally do not do that. I actually do not believe in that model. Um, and the reason for that is because I think about a custom GPT as it's an amazing lead gen, right? Imagine like just take this call for example. Imagine if I revealed this amazing thing and I said, and if you guys want this custom GPT for just a low price of $49.95 a month, right? You build these custom GPTs either as a way to help with your delivery mechanism or as an amazing lead gen. Okay, but I would not recommend putting it behind a paywall.
Yep, I agree. You don't want to sell ice cream and then charge for the ice cream cones. It's just never a good business to do that. How someone's asking how to connect a snapshot. Well, if you need help connecting with any kind of technical stuff on high level. If you don't know, we have 24/7, any time zone, almost any language, Zoom support, live Zoom support. If you go to speakwith.us/success, somebody, a live agent will jump on a call with you on a Zoom and share your screen, and they will help you install a snapshot or whatever it is that you need help with. Anything in the platform, if you need help, you can get 24/7 live support. The team will drop the link there in case if you need that. Natalie is asking, create a post or ad. Well, it depends on your budget. They're essentially both the same thing. One cost a lot more. Thoughts on organic versus paid ads out the gate, Peng?
Yeah, so here's how I look at it. I think of paid ads as a sprint, and I look at organic as a marathon. What this means is that when you start utilizing paid ads, you're going to realize that when you spend $100 today, it gives you instant feedback on whether you can make back the $100 on the same day. Whereas when you put in effort, time, and resources on creating organic content, what happens is that you could spend an entire month just super devoted to just being consistent and nothing could happen. But it doesn't mean that it's not effective. It just requires time, right? And that's why they're both very different games. I like paid ads because to me, that's when something is truly scalable. Because when you can have a well built out sales process and you can put in $1 and get back $3 in net profit, then the sky's the limit, right? Just it then comes down to like, how do I scale this faster with a bigger budget?
Just got to make sure you're running the right direction. Sometimes with paid ads, you're going the wrong direction and it's a waste of money, right? So if you have to know what you're doing when it comes to the offers and the copy and the positioning, just so you're aware. Um, Laura's asking if you build the funnel you talked about for a brick and mortar business, do you get a high level account for each business? I can tell you, Laura, each one of your customers don't need a separate high level account. They become a sub account inside your agency account. So you're the agency admin and they get a sub account. That's the way I would go about it. You could also white label it. Like Peng has his own business, salesprocess.io, where he charges his own clients. He owns the entire book of business. And High Level doesn't charge his clients. He charges whatever he wants to his clients. Peng, do you remember when one of the first conversations we had, you were like, "This is there's what do you
This,
mean?
I
They're,
said,
they're-"
I have trouble believing how this business model works because it did sound too good to be true. True. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
And yeah, it's salesprocess.com.
sorry. Yes. So yeah, you can go the white label route. Even then, it's still a sub account under your admin account. Grid Pilot, we addressed that one. Miles Person says, "Is there a way we can continue to learn from Peng?" Absolutely. He has his own community. Peng, can you share your a lot of the cool things that you guys are working on your team?
Well, if you guys want to kind of like book a call and speak to the team and see how we can work together on a deeper level, if somebody can just put in the URL link, scalingthroughevents.com, you can book a call and see if we are the right fit to work with each other.
And how many people did you have in your last AI Sprint Singapore event? I think I was getting information about that last time. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, we just did an event. There was about 700-ish people.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, Peng has an entire ecosystem of cool things around AI and even digital marketing things that he's working on. So feel free to reach out to him. Francisco's asking, how did you save the Facebook comment trigger without picking the filter values? A little bit more of a technical question.
Um, you know what? So sometimes when I get these tech questions like this, the answer is I have no idea. Like when you say like filter, I have no idea, right? So my team sets it up. I understand strategy, but when it comes to like the tech stuff, and this is in fact, I think it's a very powerful lesson for some of you that's looking at this. Like I genuinely, when you say like these field values and stuff like that, I have no idea, and I want you guys to see how real this is. That it's possible for you guys to build a multi-million dollar SaaS business built inside Go High Level without being technical about it. And some of you, I know that for some of you, that's the thing that's holding you back because you think, oh, I need to be this technical person to understand. No, like I have an entire team that does daily office hours for all these fintech. So focus on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses.
I love that. I'm in the same boat. I'm more of a strategy person, and there's so many cool things that roll out in high level, and I can't keep up. The activity logs are insane. Nick is asking.
That I would like to answer. Amin says, correct me if I'm wrong, but the goal is to become an influencer and give as much value through this method and then convert. So first of all, the goal is not to become an influencer. I would say that there's a lot of influencers out there whereby on the surface level, it looks great because they've got a lot of followers, but followers and likes don't make you money. It doesn't pay the bills. And in fact, a lot of influencers are broke out there. If anything at all, your goal is not to get 1 million followers. It is to get 1,000 people to pay you $1,000 each, because that's $1 million business. So you don't need to have 1 million followers. Your goal is to think about, well, how can I have 1,000 people that believe in my product, program, services so much that they're willing to invest $1,000? And that is where you realize that you could have a very, very small, insignificant following that's very, very targeted because you're adding value where they're engaged. And if with the right automations, right ascension, that's how you'll be able to provide value upfront and also convert them um, systematically when you have these automations in place.
Absolutely. So I know we are out of time already, Peng. I know if you don't mind, you're part of the community, and I know the workshops are all live right now. So if you do get a chance, I know it's like 2 a.m. over there, maybe sometime tomorrow, if you can go through and address some of the questions that you might find interesting, that'll be definitely helpful. Peng, I just want to say thank you to you. You had a lot going on this week. You had a marathon for all. If I had a marathon, I would probably take the week off. So thank you for your, mentality of just leaning in and saying, I'm gonna get this done, even though it's 2 a.m. over there.
Guys, I just want to end it with one thing. Like, what I mentioned yesterday, like, I really am truly grateful for the entire Go High Level opportunity and community. For those of you that's perhaps new to this community, you guys have no idea the opportunity that's being presented over here. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier, like all it takes is really just getting one client in, and that literally is going to pay for your entire investment. Go High Level many, many, many times over. And if anything at all, you owe it to yourself to at least explore and learn this skill set, because it's going to be one of the most lucrative skill sets they can possess in the online world.
I love it. Peng, last thing I want to ask you. You came to our conferences in the past, you've been to our masterminds in the past. We have our conference coming up in the next like 7 or 8 days. Can you just share your experience that you've had at these conferences? Well, outside of the one where you were upset with me that we didn't have a high ticket to sell you, we
Let
were
me tell
like,
you
we
guys
have no
something
more offers.
that I told Paulson behind the scenes. Okay. I've been to a lot of different conferences and events, and I can tell you, like, the main reason why organizers put on events and conferences is so that they can have high ticket upsells on the back end, because the money's always in the back end. And after I went to all these different conferences, I always have my credit card ready, and I'm like, Paulson, you guys need to sell something because I'm ready to buy, and I'm like, where's the upsell? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand where's, like, how come there's no upsell? Okay. So for those of you guys that's going, you guys are gonna be shocked because it's not your typical conference where there's one massive back end or upsell at the end. It's just pure value. But on top of that, there's also a lot of fun. If you join the parties at night, you're gonna realize that when I look at the party, the after, like, that's happening at night, I'm like, I run a lot of events and I understand the cost that's required to be able to put on a party like that. Okay. So let's just say that a lot of resources is really poured back into these events. So yeah, you guys are gonna have an amazing time.
Well, with that, that is the end of our 2-day workshop with Mr. Peng Joon. Thanks for saying yes to us. Thanks for coming in and delivering such amazing value. You've spoken at a lot of our events. This was the first one that we did together virtually, so I look forward to the next one. Bye for now.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks, Paulson.